let me invite Mr. Ramkumar Narayanan, VP Technology and Managing Site Director, VMware, and a member of NASSCOM Executive Council, to set the context for the conclave. Welcome, sir.
Thank you. Good morning. And apologies, the Indigo standard time didn't match NASSCOM standard time, so I got a little delayed. But a wonderful session before this, right? I'm glad that I got here in time. Thank you. That was a great session and great stories. So my talk today was really about scale to impact, but I wanted to set some context before I got to that in terms of kind of frame it in the context of the larger things that's going on from an industry perspective. So, digital transformation, while it's oft used in a big term, it's used everywhere, it's probably overloaded quite a bit. But the reality is, it is happening, and the digitization of the market is happening faster than most people are able to keep up. And really, there are several business considerations that are driving it. One is shifting customer expectations. Two, accelerated disruption. I think there is no industry right now that is not getting disrupted on a regular basis. Increasing complexity. So companies are looking to figure out how to get more operationally efficient. Budget constraints, and etc. etc. Right. So the reality is digitization is happening. And if you look at the numbers, it's bearing it out, right? I mean, if you look at digital spend across industries, across geographies, they're accelerating. I mean, 58% CAGR in the Americas, about 22% in APAC, and these numbers are probably about a year old, so it's moved even faster than what we are, what these numbers actually foretell. But and if you look across industries, right, and it's happening everywhere. Software and services, which is the first one, it's kind of hard to read from a distance, but the software and services is the first one. But we expect that to happen, right? I mean, digitization in the software industry is a given, so that almost is 100%. But if you look at all the other industries, for things like industrials, telecom, healthcare, every single one of these industries, the amount of digital spend is increasing, and which is creating new roles, which is creating new opportunities. Which is creating. I mean, many of these industries are struggling, right? Because they are not the conventional industries, and they're looking for people to come in and help them go through this process. Because not doing it is not an option, and we have seen this. I mean, we've seen industries, even in a very short span of time, maybe 5 years, 10 years, are seeming to disappear. And a lot of it is driven by disruption, which is caused by digital. So not spending the money is absolutely not an option. Which also leads us to talk about, what is really going on. I mean, what exactly is happening that is actually causing it to happen. So some of the indicators are advanced, insights. We need advanced analytics. A lot of data is getting generated. I mean, there's all these numbers that get cited in terms of amount of data generated in the last 5 years, 3 years, whatever it is, which is more than the last 30, 40 years. But that's leading to insights around the business. It's reframing what traditional industries was. I mean, retail, for example. What should the storefront of the future look like? Is Amazon Go a convention of what the future of a storefront would look like? I mean, Walmart just came out with their vision of what a store of the future is going to look like. High amount of digitization that's going into it. Self-serve experiences. We talked about, in the beginning I talked about shifting customer expectations. People want to do things themselves. Businesses want their customers to do things themselves. They don't want to be serving them with people, right? So how do you actually create self-serve experiences? Data-driven business processes. The business process, the acceleration of making decisions is increased dramatically. And so data has to be there. Industrial IoT. I mean, we are seeing this, in the industrial sector. A large amount of IoT, which was, oft again for the last few years, a lot of buzz around it. But we are seeing real rollouts. I mean, VMware being an infrastructure company, we are seeing a lot of real rollouts happening in the industrial space. And many of our customers are going through that whole transition of figuring out how to take traditional PLC-based industrial equipment and converting them to software-defined. And so there are a lot more things happening in terms of in the next 5 years. more applications are really going to be created. And a lot of these applications need not have a human in front of it. Many of these are machine-to-machine applications that will be driving, through data, making decisions, doing a lot of the things that on the left side. Now, what are some of the, look at large enterprise. And the reason I bring the large enterprise context is because a lot of companies, if you're a small business or a startup or a small and medium business, you're trying to, especially if you're in the B2B space, you're trying to sell it to large enterprises. And it's important to understand, what is actually driving these enterprises. One is creation of new experiences. We talked about shifting customer expectations. I mean, many of us, I don't know how many of you walked into a bank branch in the last year or so. I have, right? And I'm sure many of you don't. Now that means that if you're a bank, you have to start looking at catering to the new expectations of your customer. They are not going to walk into a branch. I have not written a check in probably a couple of years. What does that mean for them? If you're not touching the customer, a lot of times you walk into a bank branch, it's really a sales office, right? They're trying to upsell you, cross-sell you. And now, you can't do that anymore. There's no person waiting at the door who's trying to sell you a credit card. Now you need to figure out how you're going to change the experiences, how you're going to cater to your customers, at the same time, act as a channel for a lot of your businesses, business interests that need to come forward. Second is operational efficiency. You can spend a lot of money to get revenue, but customer acquisition costs are everything. So you need to get much more operationally efficient. And we are seeing that. We are seeing things like RPA, which is actually driving a lot of efficiencies in the system in order to reduce the cost overall. Right? Third is around new business models. SaaS. SaaS is not easy. For a lot of businesses which were license driven, they had revenue models which were very different than what they're looking at going forward. So the new business models are coming up. And how do you make sense of it and actually make money off of it if you're a traditional business? Every traditional business is going through, even in the software space. Right? A lot of companies have made the transition, but it's a very hard and a very painful transition. We've got to be ready for it. And a lot of companies are starting to figure out how to make that happen. Hiring key talent. A lot of the talent, I had an opportunity a few years ago to spend some time working with a large enterprise in helping them build, they were in the automotive space. And they were trying to build a digital team. In the 1 year that I worked with them, we couldn't hire a single employee because their HR practices didn't match with what the new age of, or new skill set that they were trying to acquire into the company. Right? An entry-level software developer in the digital space was equivalent to probably a mid-level employee in that company, salary-wise. And there was a lot of cultural shock. Now your company needs to get ready for that. And how are they going to get ready for that? I think they need a lot of help to think through HR practices, roll out new HR software that will actually help them through that process. And then last but not least, there's a lot of legacy systems sitting in there. Right? Over the years, people have built up a lot of legacy debt on the infrastructure side. In order to do all the first 4 parts, they need to move their entire infrastructure to a new paradigm. And we are seeing that. That's why the software-defined space is actually accelerating and taking off, is the fact that legacy infrastructures are now being reframed because software is actually going to make it much more flexible for them to offer all the other services or that they need to actually have to run their businesses. Now, what does that mean for you, right? If you're a startup, you're a small and medium business. Now, if you look at India, and I'm only going to focus on India here, obviously the global opportunity is much larger than this. Now, this is a bit of an eye chart, but I think the big takeaway of this is the fact that the early adopters, that bucket, it's a little hard to read, but really the companies that are sitting in the early adopter bucket are either digital-first companies, right? These are companies that have been born in the last 5-10 years, which started out digital-first, or a few leading companies which are starting to make that leap from legacy to the new world. But if you look towards the left, the followers, the laggards, are just starting that journey. If you think about it, but that journey cannot take them, the amount of time that many of these businesses have been alive. They need to accelerate, and the only way they can do this is by taking the help of people in the Zoom, for example. There's no other way to do this. They are struggling. If you're a legacy, if you've sat down and had a conversation with many of these businesses. I don't know how, maybe this room also represents a few of the people in the enterprise bucket. But it is a very, very hard journey for many of them, right? Because there's a lot that needs to be thought. And they're looking for thought partners. I mean, most of these folks, when I meet with CIOs of companies, they are not looking for another vendor. They are looking for a thought partner. They are looking for somebody to come in and work with them, advise them, be a thought partner, brainstorm with them in terms of what they can do in the context of their business and market space in order to move forward. And that opens up a massive opportunity. If you look at the Indian landscape, the software number, this came from a NASSCOM report, is the Indian software, product software, export and local consumption is roughly around $8 billion. Right? What I would like to frame that against is the services space. Right? The services industry, which has built up a very, very strong export-oriented culture or market in India, is roughly about $177 billion, close to $180 billion in terms of export. So for the software product industry in India to get there, there's a long climb. And obviously, we can't take the amount of time the services industry built it over that period of time. The question is, how can we accelerate? Is there an opportunity here to actually grow to about let's say 10% or to 15 or 20% of the software, of the services export industry and actually build for software? Now that's a tough road to climb because there's a set of things that need to happen. Consumption has to increase. The ability to actually cater to markets which are outside of India need to get better. One of the biggest problems that the companies have is how do I go and cater to a customer that's far away? But one of the things that is, it's really surprising that there are a lot of small and medium businesses that are around, and maybe many of you in this room are doing this, which are the 10 to 15 crore range. They're catering to markets outside India, but they're not very visible to the local market. When even Mr. Pawar's story, the point that he was making, that how do we get those stories out and be able to disseminate it in the larger community so everybody learns from each other. I've met a few of these companies which are 15, 20, 30, 40 crores, which have been in the business for 20 years, catering to the US market in very niche industries. These are product companies out of India. But they don't show up because they're not looking for funding, so they don't show up in the news media. But there's some great stories to tell and what they learned in that journey. And I think it's a great opportunity to unlock that and help accelerate the Indian product industry, the Indian software product industry over the next few years. So I think that's a big opportunity in front of us. The Indian startup products are growing. The good part is the fact that I think the numbers are about 7,000 to 8,000 at this point. The good part of that is many of these are people who are learning from those who have gone on the journey before them. So the newer generation of startups that are starting up now are starting up with an advantage. They are learning from those who have gone before them. They're learning from them in terms of what is possible, how to go about it, what to watch out for. The investment industry around them has become sharper in terms of understanding which ones have promise. I think the larger message in the previous session was actually quite valid, that you need to go find the money where you can and by your bootstrapping. But at the same time, I think there are things that you can build, at every step function. The newer generation of startups, many of them are repeat entrepreneurs. They're starting to get a lot more successful out of the shoe than the previous generation of entrepreneurs were just a few years ago. So it's a great progress in terms of what we are seeing in the space. And there's a whole ecosystem that's developed around it to help them, support them, guide them, and help them through this process. Whether it's cross-border business development, whether it is my mentorship, whether it is all that other stuff that needs to go with it to help somebody make a successful business. And then as we look at the SaaS world, India is one of the fastest growing SaaS startups communities in the world. Now, in terms of sheer revenue numbers, they may not look that big, but in terms of growth rates, we are actually seeing a healthy upside. And NASSCOM has been working with a number of these startups, both in the deep tech side with the deep tech club, as well as from other areas that we've been working with them on the COE, which is actually starting to bring together the larger companies along with the startups around some use cases around the various verticals that we just talked about. So I think as we look out in the future, there is a very healthy trend in terms of helping these companies move from scaling, which is what a lot of them have been doing, to actually focus on impact. Focus on the fact that are you really materially making a difference in the life of your customers in a way in which they'll come back, right? You can actually grow that business in a much more healthy way compared to what they've been trying in the past. So I think there's a massive opportunity in front of us, both within India, and the whole digital transformation is actually driving an opportunity which is much broader than India. And I think how do we think about that and move forward? Now, if you look at it from an impact on India as a country, the government as it took over has come up with an ambitious plan for $5 trillion GDP. That is not going to happen by accident. I think there is a lot of things, obviously startup ecosystem is only one piece to it. But the faster that it can help many of the businesses accelerate their revenue base, help them get more successful, will actually play a role in that. There is a set of other things that are happening around skill development. We need people in the market who are actually tuned for things that we need for the future. So NASSCOM has been working on future skills, and the ambition is to have 3 million people go through reskilling. And out of that, maybe at least have 1 to 2 million people who are trained on the newer technologies, which can come back and impact what needs to happen as we build out the next generation of companies in India. And then as you look at, the focus on creating, we have about $100 billion listed companies today in India. And the ambition is to grow that to about 200 billion. Still up here, I lost the monitor, but as we move forward, and we also see a whole range of new functional roles being created in companies. The CDO role, the Chief Digital Officer, or the Head of Digital, is something that every company is now creating. So if you're not in the startup space, not an SME, but you're looking for something meaningful to do, take your experiences and actually make it come forward, there's a great opportunity for many of you to actually think about, joining some of these more traditional businesses and helping them through their digital journey by taking on one of these roles. The government launched a national policy on software products earlier this year. It's relatively ambitious. It's about 1,500 crores that's been set aside. And it has various components to it. Some of it, there was a question about how do we incentivize R&D within companies. And part of the national, the software policy is to actually help incentivize R&D investments in companies to move forward. Because right now there is no real incentive either to actually invest in that. There's been a corpus of about 5,000 crores that's being planned, of which the government is seeding fund of funds of 1,000 crores. This is for software products. There is challenge grants being created for areas which are materially important for the country, like agri-tech, health tech, those kinds of areas. There is an ambition to nurture about 10,000 startups by 2025 in the software space. Now the President of India announced 50,000 startups, but that doesn't include just software, that includes a wide range of startups. But to support this, the reskilling effort that I talked about, there's an ambition to create about 10,000 product leaders in the country through various means, who will then support these companies that are starting out in order to provide a mentorship and an ecosystem that they can actually draw upon. And there's a whole set of things. This is available online. If you're interested, you can go read it to see what the various other components are. But it's a great first step forward. And NASSCOM is involved quite a bit in the discussions with the Ministry of IT on looking at digital India materially and saying, how do we play a role? How do we think about this? The national policy was the first step, but there's a lot more to be done. How do we partner as an ecosystem, as a software product ecosystem as well, with the government and industry to actually make the $5 trillion ambition come alive? So I'll finish up by talking a little bit about, so what does it mean, right? So you've started, everybody's this journey. How do we get there? I think there are some, when you think about your own companies, there are a few things to think about in terms of, how you're going to build a culture for the future, a digital-oriented culture. One is, embracing diversity of ideas. I think it's getting more and more clear that most companies cannot survive on their own. Whether you're a large company, a medium-sized company, or a small business, or a startup, you need to participate in the network of, the value network that exists. And the only way things are going to happen is if you embrace ideas, you don't start with a not invented here syndrome, and be able to participate materially in the network orchestration that needs to happen to make things happen in the digital space. Second, build a culture of continuous learning. Everything is changing on a daily basis. Right? Things that you think you know have changed immediately. I mean, we see this. The reason we are going to have to reskill people is because a lot of people fell behind. There are a number of initiatives happening both within private enterprises and driven by government and industry bodies to look at reskilling. But this is a challenge, and some of it exists because people are not continuously learning. And I think both as an organizational level and at an individual level, this is becoming very, very critical. 3 is embrace change. Change is constant. And the more comfortable people get with change, I think the more successful they will probably become. 4th is the agile approach. I mean, the fact that agile as a methodology is one thing, but truly embracing it in terms of embrace change and be agile to cater to what the changing needs are in the market. And last but not least is encourage collaboration. Like I said, you need to participate in the network. You need to ensure the fact that you're collaborating effectively. There are no permanent enemies and permanent friends anymore in the software space. You see all kinds of collaborations appearing in the market. Companies that were at each other's throat for years are starting to embrace each other, at least when it comes to certain kinds of use cases, and be able to move forward. Because the reality is you need to participate in the network that exists out there. Anyway, that's all I had, but I hope I at least set the stage for looking at how do we move from scale to impact, because outcomes is really what everybody's after. We can do a lot of activities, but at the end of the day, we need to be able to deliver impact, both from a business perspective and at a personal level, whether you're an organization or an individual, in terms of what impact and how are you bringing your experiences to the table to make others successful. Thank you. And I don't know, should I take some questions, Happy to do that. Or if there are no questions, you can grab me in the hallway, I'll be around.
Any questions? We can probably take a couple. Okay. But before I thank you and let you go, I'd like to reiterate one key point that he said. And he said we need to look at startups and stories beyond headlines and beyond funding.